The tension had been building for weeks, maybe even months. Every interview, every Instagram story, every indirect post had added one more spark to the fire, until finally, it exploded. When Demet Özdemir faced the cameras that night, there was no trace of the calm, polite actress the world was used to. Her eyes burned with something deeper, anger mixed with disappointment. The interviewer hesitated, but still asked the question everyone wanted to know. "Demet, what's really going on between you and Yaman?" For a moment, Demet smiled, that same controlled smile she used when she wanted to keep things professional. But then, her tone changed. "You know what," she said, leaning slightly forward, her voice trembling. "I'm tired of people wasting my time. I'm tired of games. I'm not here to play anymore." The studio fell silent. Even the host seemed unsure whether to continue. The words "wasting my time" were like thunder. Direct, sharp, and unmistakably aimed at one person. Within minutes, social media erupted. Hashtags like hashtag Demet vs Can and hashtag Stop Wasting My Time trended across Twitter and TikTok. Fans began dissecting every frame of the interview, every expression, every tone. Some said it was just a general statement about her career. But others, the ones who knew the history, understood exactly who those words were meant for. Because this wasn't the first time Demet and Can's story had reached a breaking point. From the set of Urkensi Kus to the endless rumors that followed, their connection had always been electric, beautiful but volatile. They had shared moments that felt almost too real to be acting. And then, everything fell apart. What made things worse now was the unexpected third name suddenly dragged into the chaos: Sara Bluma. Fans noticed Demet's comment came just hours after new paparazzi photos of Can and Sara surfaced from a dinner in Rome. In those photos, Can looked calm, even smiling. Sara seemed comfortable, unaware of the storm her presence was about to ignite. Back in Istanbul, Demet's fans were furious. "She deserves better," one wrote. "How can you play with her emotions like that?" another tweeted. The comments kept coming, thousands within minutes. Demet, meanwhile, didn't take down a single word she said. She didn't delete the clip. She let it spread. Maybe that was her intention all along. The truth was, she had held back for far too long. And tonight, something in her broke. "Don't steal my time," she whispered to herself backstage after the camera stopped rolling. It wasn't just a line, it was the truth she had swallowed for years, a truth that was finally spilling out for the world to see. The next morning, every entertainment headline in Turkey, Italy, and Spain carried the same sentence: Demet Özdemir snaps at Yaman, "Stop wasting my time." Clips from the interview went viral overnight. It wasn't just a trending topic, it became the topic. Even people who weren't following Turkish celebrity gossip suddenly knew her name, his name, and the growing storm between them. News anchors replayed the clip with slow-motion edits, lip readers tried to interpret what Demet murmured under her breath, and fans started connecting dots that had been quietly forming for months. But what shocked everyone most wasn't Demet's tone. It was her eyes. They weren't angry for the sake of drama. They were hurt. Deeply. It was the look of someone who had trusted, waited, and hoped too long. People who had followed her career since Urkensi Kus noticed the same sadness she once carried when that show ended, the same expression she had whenever she spoke about someone who taught me a lot, but also broke me. Meanwhile, Yaman was in Rome, completely unaware of the storm brewing online. He was filming a new campaign when his phone began to buzz non-stop. His manager handed it to him with a worried look. "You might want to see this," he said. Can stared at the screen, the headline, the clip, the millions of comments. He didn't even blink for a few seconds. Then, without saying a word, he turned off the phone and walked away. Sara Bluma, however, wasn't so lucky. Her name was suddenly everywhere, dragged into a story she never asked to be part of. On Instagram, people started flooding her photos with comments: "Are you the reason? You came between them? Leave him alone." Her team had to disable the comments section within hours. In a short story she posted later that day, Sara wrote, "Please stop spreading hate. None of you know the truth." But by then, the damage was already done. Behind the scenes, Can's PR team urged him to respond. "You need to say something, or this will destroy your image," one of them insisted. But Can didn't want to post a cold, formal statement. He wanted to talk to Demet directly, just like the old days. That night, he tried calling her. Once. Twice. 3 times. No answer. Finally, he sent a short message, "Demet, I never meant to hurt you. Can we talk?" No reply. Instead, hours later, Demet posted a story with a single line written in white on a black background, "Some calls come too late." That one sentence hit harder than any interview. Fans went wild again. It was clear that the tension between them wasn't about the past anymore. Something had recently happened. Something that broke the fragile peace they had built after years apart. As the world kept guessing, Demet went silent. No more interviews, no more posts. Just silence. But behind that silence, she was preparing for something, a truth she had kept hidden for far too long, a truth that could change everything people thought they knew about her and Can. By the 3rd day, things had reached a boiling point. Turkish and Italian tabloids were publishing conflicting stories, some claiming that Demet's outburst was a publicity stunt, others insisting it was a genuine heartbreak. But what no one could deny was the raw emotion behind her words. This wasn't a script. This wasn't a movie. It was real. A leaked backstage video from the interview only made things worse. In the clip, Demet could be seen removing her microphone, shaking her head, and saying softly to a crew member, "He thinks he can just come and go as he pleases, but not anymore." The tone was quiet, but it carried the weight of years. It spread like wildfire. Fans felt like they were witnessing the collapse of something that once seemed unbreakable. Meanwhile, Can was finally forced to face the media. He was leaving a studio in Rome when a reporter shouted, "Can, is it true what Demet said? Are you wasting her time?" Cameras flashed, microphones pushed forward. Can stopped for a moment, his jaw tightening. "You people don't understand anything," he said firmly, his voice low but sharp. "Not everything you read online is the truth." And then he walked away. But that brief comment, defensive, emotional, only fueled the chaos. Sara Bluma, once a rising name in European fashion, was now being treated like the villain of a love story she didn't write. Her management released a short statement, "Sara has no involvement in the personal matters of others. She respects everyone involved and asks for privacy." But the public wasn't ready to let it go. They wanted answers. They wanted drama. Back in Istanbul, Demet stayed home for days, ignoring calls from producers and journalists. Her closest friend later revealed that she was exhausted from pretending everything was fine. When asked whether she regretted the interview, the friend said something that stunned everyone, "No. She told me, I said what needed to be said. He knows what he did." Those 7 words, "he knows what he did," became the new storm online. Fans started revisiting old interviews, old behind-the-scenes clips, even award show footage, searching for signs of tension or unfinished business between the two. In one video from years ago, Can could be seen watching Demet on stage, clapping but with a strange, almost regretful expression. That clip resurfaced everywhere. What few people knew was that before the interview, Demet and Can had actually met, privately, for the first time in months. It happened at a quiet restaurant on the Bosphorus. They talked for over an hour. Witnesses said they didn't argue, but the conversation seemed intense. Can had leaned forward several times, while Demet looked away, blinking fast as if fighting tears. No one knew what was said, but the next day, Demet gave the interview that shook the internet. It all made sense now. That meeting must have been the breaking point. She had reached her limit. And when the cameras rolled, she no longer had the strength to hold back. But what neither of them expected was how the entire situation would spiral out of control. leading to the moment that would change everything, an unexpected appearance by Sara Bluma that would drag this story to a place neither Ken nor Demet ever imagined. 2 nights later, the city of Rome was buzzing again. A luxury brand was hosting a charity gala, the kind of event where everyone looked perfect, but every glance carried a hidden story. Yaman was on the guest list, as was Sara Bluma. The press had already gathered outside hours before the event began, desperate for a glimpse of them together after the scandal that had engulfed social media. Inside the venue, everything gleamed: champagne glasses, silver lights, whispers. But the atmosphere shifted the moment Ken entered. Cameras flashed like lightning. He greeted people politely, smiled for a few photos, but anyone who knew him could tell he wasn't himself. His eyes kept scanning the room, as if looking for something. Or someone that wasn't there. And then, she appeared. Sara Bluma, radiant in a simple white dress that made her seem both innocent and unreachable. The crowd turned instantly. The photographers lost control. In seconds, her image was all over the internet again. But what no one noticed at first was the expression on her face: anxious, uncertain, almost regretful. During the event, a journalist managed to ask her about the situation. "Sara," he said carefully, "people say you're the reason for the tension between Ken and Demet. What's your answer to that?" For a moment, Sara hesitated. Then, in a voice that trembled slightly, she said, "I think people should stop creating stories where there are none. I'm not part of that chapter of his life." She smiled politely and walked away, but those few words set fire to the night. Within minutes, her quote reached Istanbul. Fans dissected it, twisting it, giving it meanings she probably never intended. Some said she was defending herself. Others said she was indirectly confirming something, that there was a chapter, and she knew exactly what it was about. That same night, Demet was at home, scrolling through her phone. When she saw Sara's comment, she didn't react immediately. She just stared at the screen for a long time. Then she locked her phone and whispered to herself, "You can close a chapter. But it doesn't mean the story's over." Her friends later said she went quiet for hours, lost in thought. One of them recalled, "She wasn't angry anymore, she just looked done. Like she finally realized some things don't need closure. They just need distance." But the world didn't want distance. The internet demanded confrontation, and it was about to get one. Because just 3 days later, fate, or maybe irony, brought all 3 of them together in the same city. Ken was invited to a film festival in Milan. He accepted, thinking it would be a distraction. Demet, coincidentally, was scheduled to present an award there. And Sara, as a model for one of the sponsors, was also attending. None of them knew until the last minute. When the seating chart leaked online, chaos broke out. Fans called it the Triangle Night. The evening of the event, every eye was glued to the red carpet. First came Sara, calm and composed. Then Ken, who smiled but seemed distant, his hands clasped behind his back. Finally, Demet arrived, stunning in a black gown, confident, and absolutely unshakable. Reporters shouted questions: "Demet, will you greet Ken? Sara, are you nervous tonight?" But neither woman answered. They just walked past, as if the entire world had stopped existing around them. Inside, the air was thick. Cameras caught fleeting glances. Ken's eyes flicking toward Demet when she wasn't looking, Sara adjusting her hair nervously, Demet pretending not to notice. For most people, it was just another celebrity event. But for those who knew the history, it felt like watching a movie where every scene had years of unspoken emotion. And then, the moment everyone would talk about for months happened, completely unscripted. During the award ceremony, Demet was called on stage to present an honor to an actor from an Italian series. She walked gracefully to the podium, but as she turned to hand over the trophy, her eyes caught Ken's. Just for a second. The crowd noticed. The camera zoomed in. Neither smiled. Neither looked away. That single, silent exchange between them, after all the noise, all the interviews, all the headlines, said more than words ever could. The festival after-party was supposed to be glamorous, carefree, a celebration of cinema. But that night, it felt like a stage built for ghosts. Everyone was smiling, laughing, taking photos, except the three people the whole world was watching. Demet stood by the balcony, holding a glass of sparkling water she hadn't touched. The air was cool, her eyes fixed on the city lights below. From a distance, Ken entered the room. The chatter dimmed slightly, like the atmosphere sensed what was about to happen. Sara was nowhere to be seen, she had left early, her team saying she felt unwell. But perhaps she simply knew what was coming. The moment everyone had been waiting for. For the first time in months, Demet and Ken found themselves in the same room without cameras between them. There were no scripts, no PR managers, no microphones, just silence thick enough to cut through. Ken took a slow step forward. Then another. Finally, he was standing just a few feet away from her. "Demet," he said softly, his voice unsteady. "Can we talk?" She turned her head slightly, her expression unreadable. "You already said everything you needed to say," she replied. "Just, not to me." He sighed, trying to find the words. "You have no idea what was really happening." "I never," she interrupted, her tone sharp but quiet. "You never what, Ken? Never thought I'd find out? Never thought words could hurt more than silence? You think you can disappear, come back, disappear again, and I'll just wait?" Her words hit him like a wave. The same woman he once held in his arms, the same eyes that once smiled every time he entered the room, was now a storm, calm on the surface, but unstoppable underneath. Ken tried again. "It wasn't like that, Demet. You have to believe me." She shook her head, tears glistening but never falling. "You always say that. Believe me. But you never stay long enough to make it believable." For a moment, neither spoke. Only the distant music filled the air. Then Demet placed her glass on the railing and looked at him one last time. "You know what the worst part is," she whispered. "I didn't lose faith in love. I just lost it in you." And with that, she walked away, graceful, composed, leaving behind the man who once made her believe in forever. Ken stood there, frozen. For the first time in a long time, he didn't have a line to deliver, a camera to face, or a mask to wear. He was just a man who had finally realized he'd pushed too far, waited too long, and lost something real. The next morning, the world woke up to a headline that shattered social media once again. Yaman's emotional apology post vanishes minutes after upload. What did he delete? Because at 2:47 a.m., Ken had shared a story on Instagram, a black screen with a single line written in white. "If time could speak, it would tell you I never stopped waiting." Within 10 minutes, it disappeared. But not before millions had seen it. Screenshots flooded the internet. Some said it was his way of saying sorry. Others believed it was a desperate attempt to fix what couldn't be fixed. Demet, meanwhile, stayed silent. No posts, no comments. Just a photo 2 days later, sitting by the sea, the sunset behind her, captioned simply, "Peace costs distance." Fans across the world felt the ache between the lines. Two people who once burned the screen with their chemistry were now separated by something far stronger than pride, time. And as the noise began to fade, one truth became clear: she had finally spoken her heart. He had finally realized what he lost. And Sara Bluma, unknowingly caught in their crossfire, became just another name in the story of two souls who could never finish their chapter, because maybe, they were never meant to.